Many thanks for staying with us. Tonight, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfred Yeboadame, has called for the docket of Huang, popularly known as Aisha Huang, from the police. Government is under intense pressure to ensure effective prosecution of the notorious Galamsey Queen Aisha Huang. The Attorney General, in its official Twitter handle, served notice of initiating full prosecution against Ms. Huang in respect of her current alleged offences, as well as those of 2017 before her deportation from Ghana in 2018. We'll get to speak to our court correspondent shortly, but first, here's a news desk report capturing what we know about her arrival and subsequent arrest.
Aisha Huang was first arrested in 2017 and charged with undertaking small-scale mining operations contrary to the law. However, she was deported to China in 2018, a move which attracted widespread public criticism. Former senior minister Yawa Safo justified government's decision.
The main company that is helping develop the infrastructure system in Ghana is Sino-IT. It's a Chinese company. There are other things behind the scenes. Putting that lady in jail in Ghana is not going to solve your economic problem.
Aisha Huang slipped into the country through the Togo border, having changed her identity and returned to her Galamsey business in the Ashanti region. She and 3 others were arrested upon intelligence by the National Security. Court documents available to Joy News showed she had changed her name to Huang Ruxia. She has been charged with engaging in the sale and purchase of minerals without valid license and engaging in mining without license. Member of Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee, Edward Bauer, wants government to demonstrate seriousness in prosecuting her this time around.
She knows that she will come, and when they arrest her, worst case scenario, she self uses her network to find a way of freeing herself. And that's why she could dare to come back to this country. So I just hope that this time Aisha will be used as an example to other foreigners who engage in these things in our country.
Aisha Huang has pleaded not guilty to all the charges and has been remanded to police custody. She's expected to reappear on September 14.
Now, Head of Immigration Service Public Affairs Unit, Superintendent Michael Amuakwata, has been revealing how Aisha Huang was picked up at the country's entry point. He spoke with TV3.
From our officers, it's not the 3 months you're talking about that she came around mid-August, and 2nd September she was intercepted by officers. But when it comes to the borders, and we have not hidden the fact that our borders are porous, especially in the sub-region, and it's not peculiar to the West African sub-region alone, but across the whole world.
So what does the law say? The way she came in, what is likely to happen to her? But the immigration laws?
Yeah, that is an illegal entry. And currently as we speak, National Security is handling the issue because of how sensitive it is. And she was taken to court and a remand taken against her. So I believe all the other agencies and AG and everybody will come in to find the appropriate charges to level against her.
But by the immigration rules, what could be...
if she's convicted on the immigration rules, she may go in for about 2 years. That's what the law says.
By the immigration rules?
Yes.
Is the immigration pressing the charges against her?
That's why I'm saying that currently we are now building the case because her mode of entry is one that we all want to clarify. Then what she got herself engaged in also will have to be looked into. Then we can build a proper case against her. So when we get to that point, we'll let the media know. We have a mixed bag of operational strategies in place. You can't depend on just our officers at the points of entry. Looking at the terrain and looking at the nature of our job, you can see that you are the borders, and that is all. So that's why I've enumerated all the other strategies that we have: the inland checkpoints, the community engagement with border residents, and also internally conducting intelligence gathering. That's what led to her arrest. So immigration is not sleeping on the job. We are very much alert. So at any of these strategic points that we have, definitely anybody who enters will be arrested. So it's not like she has entered and we are not safe. She has entered, but she has been intercepted.
Well, the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining is also calling for the dismissal of metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives of areas where Galamsey thrives.
Question is even getting worse. Now you see the Champans actually on the water body mining. And I think one of my pleas to the president is that any DC, MP who is in any community where illegal mining is is either incompetent to represent you there or is complicit, and that particular person should be dismissed.
Security analyst Professor Kwesi Ening wants a full-scale probe geared at uncovering what he believes could be a network headed by Aisha Huang.
Prosecution as deterrence. We need to say through network and link analysis. How does Aisha Huang work? Who are those in Ghana who facilitate these things? I mean, if you look at the machinery being used, how did they come into this country? I mean, what is the paperwork around this machinery? Who are those who facilitated them? So we need, through this network analysis, to identify and to prosecute.
Right.
No one must be above the law. The bogus excuses that she's important enough and therefore we were going for a law should not wash. What is it? I mean, that how important is she to the Chinese state? Is she an agent of the state? Is she an intelligence officer? Is she a spy? Because you see, immediately we make that argument that she is too big to be dealt with because we are looking for pittance. Then it elevates the threat not only to an individual gangster, but to a state-sponsored, deliberate endeavor to threaten our survival in the long term by destroying our environment. And I think these are the things that we should be looking at. If she is state-sponsored and therefore has access to come in and to go out and to threaten our livelihoods and our very existence, then Parliament must be also up and doing.
I have further details on this, starting with our court correspondent, Joseph Akable, who joins us via Zoom. Joseph, what more are we learning about the Attorney General's decision to prosecute Aisha Huang?
And so first, we understand that he has asked that they forward the docket to him. And this is a docket that covers the investigative work that was done by the police in 2017 when she was arrested and the subsequent deportation. And so that is the first line of the investigation. The second line relates to the current crime that she's alleged to have committed, how she entered the country, and what activity she has been engaged in once she entered the country. And so those are the two lines of investigations to which she has requested for those documents. And our understanding is that she will be prosecuted in relation to these two alleged events, and the AG is committed to ensure that the prosecution takes place.
And earlier, we know that lawyers were not able to get access to Aisha Huang. What more are we learning? Has that situation changed?
It hasn't changed. It has been an effort that took off from yesterday when the story broke. They have since been trying. They actually contacted some individuals who they know are closer to the issues by way of their arrest and the subsequent charges that were found. But so far, they've not been pointed to which specific facility she's being kept to enable them have conference with her to determine the next line of action by way of the defense that they intend to put up. And so that also remains another line that they are also pursuing, hoping that they're able to have contacts with her.
Has the Attorney General given any indication as to when exactly this prosecution will begin?
We do not know, but what we know for a fact is that already charges have been found and they are going back to court on September 14. As to whether between now and September 14, the state will be ready to commence their prosecution full scale. That is something that, from what we are gathering, may not seem likely because they are trying to compile the matters and deal with the initial one and this one as well. And so that will require some investigation. So it's more likely that on that September 14, they may request some more time to do some further investigations before they continue with the matter.
Court correspondent Joseph Akable, thank you very much. Let me stay on Zoom or on the phone line with my colleague Love FM Erastus Asari Donko. He's been following operations of the Galamsey Queen in the Ashanti region. Joins us on Zoom. Erastus, first off, do we know where Aisha Huang has been operating specifically in the Ashanti region?
We have some. I've been speaking to my sources, and what we do know is that since she came, she has not been working at her usual place at Bepot Tinting, but then she's been recruiting local guys to be buying and selling gold for her. She's also been investing in mining as well. And so she has been mining in an area called Kunso. Kunso is close to Mankranso in the Ashanti region. She's also, I've been told, that she's also been mining at Seshi Debiso. That's where, these are the two areas that I get from the ground that she's been investing and sponsoring some of the Chinese nationals here who work for her and some Ghanaian nationals as well. So some names have been popping up. I cannot mention them now, but names of some politicians who are working for her and conniving with her to work in these two areas, Kunso and Seshi Debiso.
And that brings me to that investigation of powerful individuals behind the illegal mining business. How influential would you say Aisha Huang is? Some have said she's all too powerful.
Very highly connected, whoever you speak with, and even within the ranks of the Chinese community here in Ghana, she has funds, she has money, and she's well connected. In fact, she's revered or highly respected within the Chinese community, both in the Ashanti region and beyond. And there are some Ghanaian collaborators as well who support what she does. And so within the political circles from both political parties, she's well connected. She has support from some of these people within the security agencies as well. She has former allies whom she was working with, and since she's been back, she's received some enormous support from them as well. So currently there are Chinese nationals who are working for her. There are Ghanaian collaborators who are also buying gold for her as well.
Okay. Well, briefly, just before I let you off, help us appreciate the impact of illegal mining on water bodies in the Ashanti region from the perspective of the Water Commission. I know you're doing some extensive work on that.
Exactly, and the latest figures that we have from the Ghana Water Resources Commission are quite disturbing, especially when you look at the normal drinking water level is 5 NTU. Now, as of February 2022, we are recording as much as 3,880 with some of the areas. The Offin, for example, we are recording above 1,500. So it paints a very disturbing picture about the turbidity values of the various water bodies that we do have across the country and in the Ashanti region as well. So that is the disturbing scenario painted by the Water Resources Commission. And in fact, when we get to the ground you see it visibly. They cannot even use it to water crops. When you use it, the crops die. And you cannot use it for other purposes as well because of the heavy metals you have in these waters.
Yeah, okay. That's Erastus Osari Donko, and we're anticipating that investigative piece that you're putting together on illegal mining airing soon on the Joy News channel. Well, earlier, the minority leader indicated that they will be holding the Interior Minister before Parliament on this particular Aisha Huang situation. And also, he alleged earlier that she has a Ghana card. Well, this evening, there's a statement from the National Identification Authority on this particular Ghana card that's making the rounds on social media. So it says that the attention of the National Identification Authority has been drawn to mainstream and social media reports and discussions on the arrest in Ghana of a Chinese national popularly known as Aisha Huang, who was found to be in possession of Ghana card bearing the name of Wang En. The NIA wishes to respond to and clarify the situation as follows. Since 2012, our law has required all foreigners permanently resident in Ghana, i.e. for 90 days or longer, who are not diplomats or representatives of international non-governmental organizations to register for and acquire the national identity card of Ghana. It goes on to say that the card issued to such qualified foreigners is the non-citizen identity card and is so captured in red lettering above the card holder's personal details. This distinguishing information in red does not appear on the Ghana card meant for Ghanaian citizens. Sample images, like you see on your screen, has been attached to that particular statement. It further goes on to say the qualified foreign applicants pay a statutory fee of $120 for the non-citizen identity card, which is valid for 1 year and is renewable every year at a fee of $60. The National Identity Register compiled by NIA does not contain any record of a person named Aisha Huang. But differently, the name Aisha Huang does not exist in the National Identity System database, it continues to say, and adds that on 26th February 2014, a Chinese woman named Wang Eng registered as a first-time applicant for a foreigner identity card at the Foreigner Identification Management System Registration Center at Inshiaeso, Kumasi in the Ashanti region. Her biometrics were captured and she was issued with a non-citizen Ghana card. She subsequently did 2 more renewals on 31st August 2016 and 8 January 2018 using the same details and Chinese passport number. The number is attached also throughout all these registrations. Her details remained unchanged as below. And they've provided those details in that statement, and it goes on to say on 25th August 2022 at 10:35 a.m. an incident occurred at the FIMS registration center in Tamale, northern region, involving a Chinese national who visited the center as a first-time applicant with the following details, and this is Rizia Wang, and it gives the date of birth and the passport number as well, and goes on to say the registration, however, went into a technical state known as rejected due AFIS, which meant that the biometrics of Rizia Wang possibly matched that of an already existing person in the NIS database. The registration officer therefore sent a request to the technical support team for further investigations, and it adds that when confronted by the registration officer with this information, she claimed to have changed her name as per NIA's normal registration process. Wang was asked to provide an official certified affidavit and a gazette as required by law to support the change of name of the details in the passport, amongst others. That's a rather long statement giving us detailed explanation on this. Well, thankfully, Abdul Ganiel joins us via Zoom. We are grateful for your time here on the Joy News Prime. So give us clarity on this. What you are seeking to tell us is that you have Wang Eng on your database but do not have Aisha Huang. But clarify for us really what exactly you're seeking to communicate, because I hear 3 names at this point. What really is the clarification? You'd have to unmute, sir.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Super.
Right. So the first point to clarify is that this is a non-citizen identity card, because what was put out earlier, especially from the commentary this morning, has been that a Chinese woman has been issued with a Ghana card, so that when Ghana card is mentioned, everyone thinks about the card that you and I possesses. But as the law provides, for foreigners who are legally resident in Ghana, 90 days and beyond, they are also mandated to register and acquire what we call the non-citizen Ghana card. So that is what was issued to this Chinese woman. So it is not the Ghana card meant for citizens. So that point has been made very clear. And then we've also provided the dates that she registered, whether it was first-time registration or it was renewal of her registration as the law provides. So the first time she registered was in 2014, and we do not have any name as Aisha Huang in our database. The name we have is Huang Ian, and that is the only thing we can speak to as an identity management organization. Even if we suspect anything at all, we cannot speculate until an investigation is carried out and is established that is the same person being referred to in the public as Aisha Huang. So MFA, that's the point we are seeking to make here. So it's 1 year that we have in our database.
And not now, Aisha Huang.
Exactly, not Aisha Huang. So she
so
comes
fast forward, Mr. Ganiu, there was a registration that we talked about in Tamale this year, correct? And that
That's
name
right.
was also different, but it appears it was the same person. Is it the suspicion that it's the
That's
same
right.
Wang
So-
Ing that tried to register this year in Tamale?
Yeah, so this is what Wan Yen tried doing. She came with a different name. That is the Rusia one, to do an entirely new registration. So this was an entirely new registration she was seeking to do, not a renewal of the previous registration that she did in 2014, which she renewed in 2016 and renewed in 2018. This time around, she came with a different name altogether, attempting to register new and acquire a new non-citizen Ghana card. But because the system is so robust that there are 3 levels of biometrics that will normally be captured before a card is issued to an individual. So even if you come with a different name and we take all other biometrics, it will surely prove that your biometrics are already in the system. And once the similarity level has been established and a new name pops up, then it becomes very clear that this is somebody attempting to change a name.
Was she successful in undertaking this new registration, or the biometrics or the system was able to detect it such that she did not get a new ID card?
Exactly. So once you come, I mean, MFI, you know the process that you go through. Apart from filling a registration form, your fingerprints will be taken. We would take your iris, and then we would also do the facial recognition. So once all these have been done, obviously, if your data already exists in the system, it's going to pop up. And once it pops up with a different name that you have given, because your name must also be unique and just cannot be changed arbitrarily. In fact, name can be changed. It is not illegal to change a name, but you must support that with a relevant document.
Was she able to support it with a relevant document when you read the red flag?
So she couldn't support that with an affidavit and with a gazette. So in that sense, the registration couldn't go through.
And was there any alert of any sort to security agencies knowing that this is a foreigner who had attempted to do this twice? Did you raise any alerts for the NIA such that the security agencies were alerted?
The officers certainly could not have detected that. I mean, from where I sit, if somebody comes to my office and I know that Aisha Huang is the one being talked about, probably I've never seen her. I don't even know her picture, to do what we call an UCLA inspection. So the person comes to give me a name other than the name that has been mentioned or bandied about. Obviously, the officer wouldn't know.
So nothing happens to such persons who attempt to do this process or register a Ghana card twice. Nothing happens, no sanctions at all?
If you attempt to do that fraudulently, and the law establishes fraudulent in that regard, obviously the law would be able to deal with you. And those are the investigations that are currently going on. Or else, for someone who is ignorant of that provision of the law, could come that I want to change my name. What NIA will simply tell the person is that you can't change your name like that. You have to go do an affidavit, do a gazette, then you can apply for a name change for us to do that for you. We do that daily of Ghanaians who come to change their records. But when the system flagged it, that the registration couldn't go through because you already exist in the system with the name Wan Yen, she realized that there was nothing she could do about it. So she simply decided to do a renewal of the registration that she's always had in the system. MF, I hope you understand that. So that is how come the card was printed for her, but bearing the old name Wan Yen.
But the concern is, this is a person who had attempted to register with a new name. It then realizes that you have an existing name. It did not go through. Then you decide to renew for the person without raising any red flags with the security. No. That's the concern. That's where the concern is.
But at that point again, like I said, it becomes extremely difficult. I mean, this, you see, even from where I said, I'm not supposed to assume that Aisha Huang, the person being talked about now, is the same person as Huang Ian. I can't do that as an identity management person.
Do we come to a point? Do we come to a point as a country that we have the database that could detect anybody that is being sought after at some point in time? Because the concern now is this is a person that was deported in this country, comes back, goes through a process where biometrics are taken, and nobody detects that this is a person that is wanted in this country.
No, but MFA, remember that she tries doing a new registration. So if the system was not robust enough, the system would have allowed it, then we would have had a certain Aisha Huang, so-called. I mean, I'm not still assuming that is the same person, now bearing a different name as Rusia Huang. But it's because we have a robust biometric system, that is how come it was flagged and it was rejected. That new registration couldn't go through. But she's had old data in the system having registered as Huang Ian. So if the person says, okay, I want to renew my card and I'm paying for it, you would simply have to print what is already in the system for the person. But whatever it is, we working with the security agencies will establish the true identity of this individual. And the person should face the full
Well, I'm sure you can appreciate the concerns of Ghanaians that it appears that our system is not robust enough to detect a criminal, for instance.
No, but the system detected a criminal. I mean, I still don't want to say that's criminal because, like I said, I would still want us to wait to finally establish that Aisha Huang is the same person as Huang Ian in our system. For now, we can't establish that at all. But from a layman, the person will be thinking that way. But in our system, it is because of this train level of comprehensive biometrics that we capture, that we are able to detect persons who try to go through the system the second time with different set of records for a new card to be printed for the person. I think we should be happy that we have been able to create this system at this point, that we can always rely on to be able to establish the true identity of individuals. And that is what the National Identification System has been able to do in this Huang Ian case.
We leave it here. We're grateful. That's ahead, Corporate Affairs, National Identification Authority, Dr. Abdul Ganiu. We're grateful for your time.